All right, so just like ignore the fact that my Christmas tree is still up. It's gonna be coming down soon. Hey, I'm Janelle. This is toDIYfor, and first DIY of 2022. Really looking forward to many more projects this year to come, and I have quite a few ideas in the works already. But this is actually a delayed birthday present for my nephew, and I was able to gift it to him over the holidays because I physically had to set it up in his bedroom. Now, my sister had suggested this is something he wanted and wondered if I could DIY it. And I did my best, and I actually think it's a really easy project to put together, just depending on how okay you are with the way that it attaches to the bed. You'll see. Let's get into it.
All right, so this is where the planning began. I originally thought that maybe I would do this with hula hoops and I don't know, something else, but honestly that was a bad idea because I ultimately landed on PVC piping because I couldn't find hula hoops, which ended up being perfect. So this is kind of me going through my design process. What I really needed to do is figure out how big my hoops needed to be on top of the bed. And to do this, I basically just needed to figure out what the circumference of half that circle would be by using the width of a standard twin bed as the diameter. I just punched it in online because I do not remember how to do that anymore. And then obviously just took half of that, and that would be the half of the circle. I then added some more height to it because I didn't think that it would be that tall for him to sleep under. So ultimately what I landed on was cutting my 10-foot pieces of half-inch PVC pipe into 3 feet and 7 feet. The long pieces are the big arches, and the 3-foot pieces run alongside the bed to attach to the bed and attach those two half circle pieces together. It will hopefully make a little bit more sense, but I will leave all of the calculations that I used down below if you want to replicate this. It could be different though for a bed that you're using. So then I basically just grabbed my piping and I needed to start to get cutting. I originally bought 3 pieces because I thought I would be able to add a crossbar somewhere in between, but unfortunately this pipe is really stiff, and if I were to cut that arch in half so I could add a pole in between, it wouldn't bow and it wouldn't bend the way I needed it to. So that unfortunately created some sag with the fabric, but whatever. To cut PVC piping, all you really need is a little tiny handsaw like this. It's really easy. I originally used my pipe cutter, but it's totally unnecessary to do that. This cut through it really quickly and easily. So once I had my pipes cut, I was going to assemble this at their house. So I'm going to get on with the fabric, which I just bought, cheap white cotton fabric and red fabric because we're making a barn. So the white is the roof, so it needs 2 tubes along each side of this, and I just made the width of that 3 feet because that's the width of the base of this project. So I added those 2 tubes that will easily have the PVC pipe fit through, and then I'm going to attach the red here, and I did not hem the white or the red fabric. I've simply folded the red fabric under so that it will look like I've given it a hem, and then I am leaving a gap on each side so that the pipe can continue to go through there. I need it to be able to slide through as well. So here I just stitched a few lines to connect the red and the white fabric on the very edge, and then I'm going to stitch straight across here to connect to the red and white fabric, which will drape down below over top of the bottom bunk bed for him. So this again is for a bunk bed, so it'll be different depending on the kind of bed that you're working with. So I had a nice stitch line there, and then he wanted it to be a barn, so we're gonna add the typical barn door on here, and I believe this is just some white fabric that I found in all the trim section where you get things for pillows and elastic and all of that. So I've got these thick white trim here that I am using, and I simply hot glued that into place. And that's because I'm not fantastic with my sewing machine, and I figured that I could do this straighter and better with the hot glue gun, and it was a pretty quick way for me to do it as well. Did a smaller X in the center to complete that door look. Forgot my tripod, and I do not have a lot of great footage of us putting this together, but basically it is this 3-foot PVC pipe with 2 pieces that will add on the end. It doesn't need to be a T-bracket. You could use an elbow. They get zip tied to the bed frame themselves. Here it is between the wall and the bed, and is zip tied to the bed frame. And then these 7-foot long pieces get put in, attached through that elbow or T-bracket. You got to slide on all of the fabric into those 2 tubes in the white fabric, and just like a curtain, and that's basically how it hangs. I also did not measure the red fabric properly, so we kind of had to pin it up to make the door look a little bit better. But it's really easy, it's sturdy, it's secure, zip tied to the bed frame, easy to remove when and if you need to. And I didn't iron it because we had to travel, okay? I know it could look a little bit better, but he was very happy with it and said he enjoys sleeping with the animals in the barn.